Hey guys, it's Barrett with the Gimpy Camper. Today we're going to be doing a quick product review. This is a promotional product that I received free for an honest review. I do plan on passing it along to one of my viewers eventually, but we're going to test it out for a little while, see how it works. Today we're just going to look at the LifeDoo portable fire pit, and we're going to take a look at it, go over our first impressions, set it up, build a fire, see how it works, and talk about when you might want to think about a fire pit like this. First of all, I'm going to talk about the box here. So the box, it is pretty heavy because this fire pit is steel and it's a pretty small box, so that shows you how compact and portable it is. But my sister-in-law went to hand it to me like this, and she said it's pretty heavy, and I grabbed it with one hand and I about dropped it because it was a lot heavier than I thought it was. And all you gotta do is read their box, their packaging right here. It seems to be true. I also have to give them some credit on here as far as some things that you might think whenever you see this fire pit. And so they just go ahead and embrace that, and they print it right here on the box, all these comments. When it heats up, it'll probably buckle. Talking about being hard to clean, all kinds of stuff on here, right on the box. So they're just kind of embracing it and saying, yeah, we know what you're gonna say if you're gonna be a naysayer, but give it a try anyway. So let's give it a try. One thing that I do have to say about this, it does come in a nice canvas bag that totes everything around, so you don't have to worry about it being as dirty and such, because it is in a bag, so you can just throw it in your car. I will say that there wasn't any instructions in the box, which I found a little bit odd, because there are some pieces in here. It's pretty common sense to figure out how it goes together, but still, it'd be nice for a couple of pictures or something, just for the intended instructional use. Now let's start getting in the pieces here. So I'm going to stand this up. The largest part in the whole kit is the ash tray. And so it's just a big piece of rectangular metal that does have edges on it here. And we're going to set that down. And then the fire pit sits right on top of that. It does make cleanup easier, I suppose. Then you have the two pieces that are the ends of the fire pit. They do have the name logo in the end of it, as well as different slots where the side panels go. And we'll talk about that more in a minute. There's a few other pieces, but the other main two pieces that we're going to look at right this second are the side pieces. These are identical to each other. It's just two pieces of metal. So with this, pretty common sense. So you have the end here, and there's a couple of sets of holes though. And with this, I didn't really understand when I first put it together, but they'll line up two different ways. So they line up this way on the center set of holes, which makes it more narrow. And I think that's to make it more of like a grill functionality where you can use charcoal and stuff easier. But then there's a second set of holes that are on the more outside, and they open it up further. And that's so firewood fits down in here easier, makes it more like a burn pit. So that's the way we're gonna go with today. So I got the one side in. Put the second side in. I did learn when I put it together the first time, just to try it, that it seemed to be a little bit easier if you did one end first and then put the other end on. So I can support it a little bit here. Just kind of start it there and then grab this other one and put it where it goes. And then it does have some little notches in there where it can slide down, hold it together a little better. There we go. It just didn't want to latch real great the first time. So after we get this done, this is your basic frame for your fire pit. So it's just, triangular shape fire pit there with an open bottom, as well as the holes on the side for the carry handles and the LifeDoo logo there, which all should give you pretty good ventilation when you're trying to have a fire, and kind of go similar to that whole solo stove push where it's really well ventilated, so it should burn hot. And I would assume that it wouldn't have a whole lot of smoke, kind of like the Solo Stove. That being said, this is pretty small, but just to throw in the car to take around, I think it might work pretty well. So you have a small grill grate in here. This grate goes in the bottom in the perforated holes. I found that it's easier to put it in one side and then slide it over into the other side. So we got our grill grate down in there. See that there. Then the rest of the pieces in here, you do have the grill top, the grill grate for the top that you can put across the top. It actually sits better when this is thinner though. As well as there are 3 horizontal bars on here if you need them to set something on. They just go in these slots. And the slots are spread out where you can put them in different areas. But if you're going to put something on top of there, like the grill grate, it gives it a lot of extra support. Okay, so we're going to try to start this just the same way we start one in the Solo Stove, and that's using a couple of fire starter cubes. And just putting some smaller kindling pieces on top. See how it works. It's not going to be as easy to keep it separated on this thing. All right guys, so we're back here revisiting this LifeDoo fire pit. You know, I made a couple of changes on it and we repainted it with some grill paint. I think that's going to help a lot. With that being said, the grill paint does say not to use it for cooking. So I'm not sure how that would integrate in with something like this where it's not on the cooking surface, but it's down under there where the coals are hot. So I'm not sure about that, and I'm not sure how safe that would be, so I wouldn't recommend it. But I don't plan on using it for cooking personally. And you know, if you don't mind it being a little discolored right there where the paint came off, it's no big deal. But we did patch it together. The only other negative that I found about it is that one of the main pieces of steel that hold the logs, one of them did curve just a little bit. I kind of expected that to be worse in this situation, and so I think that it's performing great except for the whole paint coming off. I talked to them over at LifeDoo. They said that they're working on a stainless steel model that would completely eliminate the whole paint anywhere, right? And so you wouldn't have that issue anymore. So when do you want to use this? This is going to be something that, you know, you just want to throw in your car, because this is the whole footprint of the thing, including the box that it came in. And so you can throw this in your car, make you a fire somewhere, you know, a couple of times a year, no problem at all. I don't know that I would want to use this for continual burns all day, every day, because it probably wouldn't last that long. I mean, you know, with something like that, there's an excessive amount of heat, and you know, the best of the best isn't going to last real long with the fire in it every day. So I'm saying that I think this is a decent product, and the only major flaw that I can find is the paint chipping off, which they said they're working on. And if you read right here on the carry bag, it says every user is our designer. So that means that they're trying to tell you that they understand, and they listen to your comments, and they're going to try to change their product. So let's put it together again real quick. Let's start a fire. Let's see how the new grill paint holds up. All I did was go over it a little bit with some 60 grit sandpaper and then put that grill paint straight on there without any primer or anything. So let's see how that holds up. Get her lit up here with a couple of fire starter cubes. Fire starter cubes are my preferred way because they're pretty cheap and they seem to do a really good job. That's what I usually use in the solo stove. Alright guys, so we just finished up our test burn of the LifeDoo portable fire pit after we put the grill paint on there. It held up very well. A little bit of the paint did flake off on the edge of where it flaked off before. I think that was because it was a little bit loose paint there where I didn't sand it real good. So like one more coat of that would have took care of it. No more problems. I did notice that the sides that hold the logs, they did bow out a little bit more. I'm going to show you some pictures of that here. You know, the issue is if you're just going to use this ever so often, then I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. But with continued burns, that could get worse to the point where that grate doesn't sit in the bottom anymore. I actually thought that was going to be the weak spot with this because, you know, even in the big fire rings, I have some hot fires sometimes, and I might have been known to melt a couple of those big metal grates in the fire rings that are at campsites before, just to kind of warp them a little bit. Might have happened, okay? Because I'm not the best at that whole keeping it low and stoked and all that stuff. It's either not burning or it's like 4 foot tall. That's just the way I burn. This is the way I build a fire, and I don't know. I don't have that ability to kind of keep it at a medium level. But with this, if you're just looking for something to throw in the car because it's got a very small footprint, I think it's going to be great. It should work for you for quite a long time in those scenarios. But no, I wouldn't use this for a daily burn or anything like that. Now, if you want to check it out, I am going to throw a link to Amazon in the description below because I don't think that it's a total flop. And I have high hopes that when they change over to using stainless steel, now I understand that's going to make the price go up a little bit, I'm sure, but I think if they make that change, I think everything will be a little bit stronger, and then you won't have the paint flaking issues, and I think it's going to be a wonderful product at that time. So let's stick around. Maybe they'll send me an updated model and I can show you how great it is. Until then, you know, whether you want this product or not, that's going to depend on what your use is and what your available space for your storage. So like I say, if you just want something to throw in the car to leave in there, I think this is going to be great.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.